When I think of how the pandemic has affected me, and when I think of all that's gone on these past now 12 months, I think about loss. I think a lot about not just the loss of just, concerts and comedy clubs and, all of the things that we were so used to doing socially. This year, and actually really recently, I have now lost 3 people. I lost my aunt, her husband, my uncle, and her brother, my other uncle, which was only about 3 days ago. It's been a hard hit on the entire family. Not being able to go to a funeral. I think we've lost privileges that we didn't even know were privileges before now. I think to have a funeral and to be able to mourn somebody traditionally before the pandemic wasn't something that we thought about. It was just something that we did, and now these are things we obviously have to think about.
My mom works for the CDC, the Center of Disease and Control. She was like at nursing homes, like watching people die, kind of, because they didn't have like enough supplies for like the elderly and stuff.
When I had to give birth to my son, or when I was pregnant with him, I had to quit my job because I was a risk for getting the COVID. And then I wasn't able to have like the big family experience or the birthing experience like everybody else did. It was just me and my boyfriend, and I only spent 2 days in there. And now I have to do the whole thing all over again, and it's not fun. Your life is just put on hold, and it's boring, And being a mom and having to stay in the house is very aggravating.
The pandemic hit, and then the protests of the summer came about, especially here in Denver. It was a very emotional time for me. I hadn't been out since the pandemic had started, and me and my roommate decided that this was a big enough reason for us to step outside and to show our solidarity and our support for George Floyd, and of course the many, many, many people who have died from police brutality.
So we were at the protest, we got tear gassed. I know for a fact I did not get like a direct hit the way that a lot of the people did at the front. I definitely underestimated what tear gas felt like.
I feel like the quarantine really affected those protests because people were actually sitting in their homes. They had no choice but to watch the horrificness of so many people dying on screen in front of our very eyes with no provocation. I think that was the reason why the movement was so big. Because we had no choice. We couldn't just sit there. And I think even though it came out of such a horrific place, I feel like it was so amazing to see all of these people from all different walks of life stand together and say that Black Lives Matter. And it was a really emotional thing for me.
What I do like post-COVID is this, I'll tell you what. I've been trying to tell these people for a long time, look on the inside, work on yourself, because that's where everything starts. It's not from the outside in, it's from the inside out. But guess what? Because everyone's been isolated now, and everyone has been quarantined, they've finally stopped being a robot, and they have this clear view of their internal dialogue and everything that's going on, and they're making changes. So it's so much easier. I don't have to sell people to want to work on themselves. They want to do it. They call me, and this is what I love about what COVID has done to a mass population, is that everyone is more health conscious, Everyone wants to work on themselves, and there's a lot more sense of community.
That is a good thing that's come out of this pandemic, is that it's opened the possibility of people working remotely. So most of my clients nowadays are all over the country. I've got people literally on the East Coast and in the West. So I do feel like it's just as effective.
I think that this has created a mental toughness that all of us have had to sustain. And I think that it's created a resourcefulness within all of us. And I can't imagine that not being a good thing.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Mwah. I have to put this back on.
I think my best friend, Patty, getting coronavirus was absolutely terrifying to me. I was on the phone with her every day, several times a day, as often as she was conscious. I see people not wearing their masks in certain areas. I just start to become so ridiculously livid, because it really is people's lives that we're playing with. Please, wear your mask. If it's not for you, do it for everyone else. Just have some compassion. Just care.
Well, hello everyone. It's me, Patricia, with Patty Co Fit. Not in my usual attire. However, I am definitely at home in my sort of borderline pajamas, and you know, makeup is not on point. I'm literally still getting over COVID. This is raw footage of me still being sick, constantly sweating, whether I'm cold, whether it's hot, always sweating. It's affected my business in such a way where I now realize what holes there are and what I can do better to improve. For example, all this time that I've been gone, because I have to be in quarantine, there's no one training my clients. Some of them are training themselves. One of them dropped out and is going to a group class in some gym, which I'm okay with because I really need the extra time, seriously. I am going to be back with even more passion. I'm going to be successful on purpose, with purpose. And I'm going to bring something to the fitness industry that's going to flip the script on the generation of today, of tomorrow. And that is how the pandemic has affected me. Yes, it sounds very positive and happy-go-lucky, but let me tell you something. Every time I've been faced with adversity, it has come with an equal value of opportunity. So thanks for watching, guys. Mwah. Love you. Stay positive, stay happy, stay away from COVID.